That is so much fun. Oh my gosh. What a fun project. Welcome to this episode of Little Structures. Today, I'm making a Squidward costume. Okay, so once upon a time, I bought a Squidward costume. It's one of those inflatable ones, and I've played the clarinet for over 25 years. So I'd really like to go with Squidward and be able to play clarinet music. So in this project, we're going to be modifying the Squidward costume so that I can play my clarinet while being inside of it. So the first materials you're going to need is some PVC pipe and fittings. So I'm using 1/2-inch PVC pipe. You're going to need at least 6 feet, but I would just buy the 8-foot and cut it down from there. You're going to need 4 T-fittings, 10 90-degree fittings, and you're going to need 5 45-degree fittings. You're also going to need a way to cut your PVC. This is a ratcheting PVC cutter. So you open it, and then as you click it, it slowly closes the blade, and it'll cut your PVC pipe. A box cutter, a pencil, some scissors. I use this little metal ruler, and I've also used this wooden ruler, but you won't be making cuts that are bigger than 6 inches, so I don't think you'll need anything more than this. A protractor, T-square foam that matches your Squidward costume. I've got this teal, this orange color for his shirt. Thicker craft foam. It doesn't matter the color. I also have a flip folder. If you are a musician, you'll know what this is. And this is so I can hide a lot of the stuff that's going on the costume. You can use the flip folder to put sheet music on. I'm using a MagSafe connector that I can put on the PVC pipe so that I can attach my phone to it and use my phone as the sheet music. Some kind of nylon or cotton strap. You may need more or less depending on your frame. 1 or 2 of these little clips, or you can substitute one of the clips for an adjustable buckle. I'm just using 2. These are like cord management straps. I'm using that just for now. Safety pins. Spray paint that matches the costume. So I've got this like orange color, and I have this like seafoam. If you want to glue your PVC pipe together, you're gonna need primer and adhesive. And then we may or may not need hot glue. So I got some hot glue sticks and my hot glue gun, just in case. And that's it. And that's all you need. So let's get started. I've broken down the components of the rig that's going to hold the flip folder or your phone. I've broken them down into 4 segments. So you have the waist, and that's going to have 2 PVC that is a flex length. So mine is cut at 1.5 inches, but you may need to extend or shorten this part of the PVC. You're then going to have 4 1.75 or 1 3/4 inch pipe, 2 T's, and 3 45s. Then we're going to make the offset. So you're going to need 4 90 degrees and then 2 1.5 inch tubes. Then we're going to build the chest. So you're going to need 2 5.5 inch PVC, a 4 1/4, 2 1.5s, and 2 2 3/4. You're going to need 2 T's and 4 elbows. And then the last thing we'll build is the lyre. So this is what's going to hold the music to the rig. So you're going to need 2 5.5s, 1 4 1/4, and 2 1.5s, 2 90s, and 2 45s. The first thing we're going to do is build the waist. So I'm going to take a 45. I'm going to take a 1 3/4, another 1 3/4, and I'm going to connect them like this. I'm going to take a T, and I'm going to attach 2 T's to either side of that. Okay, make sure the holes are facing up. Then I'm going to take these 1 3/4 and I'm going to attach them going up. Then I'm going to take what is my flex width. For mine, it's 1.5 inches. I'm going to put those on either side. Then I'm going to put the 2 45s on either side. Okay, at this point, you've built basically the waist. So this goes here. Okay, and at this point, it might be a good time to start to string through your nylon. Now, it may get stuck at some point, but you can just take the tubes apart and then like feed it through. So right now, it's getting stuck, so I'm just gonna pull it. Okay, so now I've got the waistband connected. So then the next part we're going to work on is the offset. So this is what allows you to be able to move around freely in the costume. So that is, you're basically going to make like an S. So it's 2 90s connected by a 1.5 inch. So it makes like a little like tube looking thing. And then I'm going to make 2 of those and they are offset like that. So it offsets it from your body. Okay, and then I'm going to try to get those as like straight and parallel as possible. So here I made them parallel. Okay, in the next part, we're going to be making the chest part. So we have this, it comes off of our body, then it's going to go straight up and then out the costume. But so it doesn't get a little squirrely on you, we're going to build a joint that connects to your chest so that when you pull this around your back, you can clip it into something so it holds it stable without it being like stuck to you. We're going to take the 5.5s, and you're going to put them on top of the offset. Then we're going to put a T, and you want the hole to be facing what would be towards you when you wear it. Then we're going to use our 1.5 inch connector, have it come off the T, like that. And then we're going to take our 2 90s and we're going to face them towards each other like this. Okay. And then we're going to connect them with the 4 1/4 pipe. Okay. So now you see it's like, oh, it's hitting my mic, but it like, you can move around in it and it's like not, yeah. Now the last thing to do is to attach your 2 3/4 pipes to that. So we're just going straight up. And then we're going to connect 2 90s that face away from you. And this is the part that's going to go through the costume. And then we're going to move on to the lyre. So this, you're going to take the 5.5 pipe and you're going to put it facing away from you. And this is going to be going through the costume. And we're going to make grommets to make sure the air doesn't escape. And then we're going to take our 45s, connect those. So now it's moving like up. Then we're going to take our 1.5s, those in, take our 90s and face them towards each other. And then we're going to connect those with the 4 1/4. And that is that's the rig. So then we'd be able to put our MagSafe or your flip folder here, and then your phone mounts on there, and you can read music through the window in the costume. So we're going to break this down where we'll have the mount, and then the connection, and then the lyre. Now we'll talk about how we are making sure that the air isn't escaping in these connection tubes whenever we put them through the costume. So to make the grommet, what I've done is I've taken my protractor and used my T-square to create a cross pattern in here. And then I measured the pipes. They're 7/8 of an inch. I found the center of that. I put 7/8 in the center. And then I drew a 2.5 inch circle around it using my protractor. And then you're going to cut these out, cut the circles out. I'm just using scissors. You don't have to get really technical with it. So let's cut these out. Okay, so you should have 4 of these discs cut out. And the way we're going to build this is so that they kind of click in together. So one, you're going to cut the hole out, and the other one kind of make like an asterisk pattern, and you're going to cut out the asterisk. So whenever we put the pipe through here, we're going to have both of these sandwiching the costume. So the costume is in here, and then you sandwich it like that, and then you're going to push the pipe through this. It's going to make a seal between the outside and the inside of the costume. So when this pipe goes through, you don't have to worry about air escaping. And then I've also made the same thing for the clarinet barrel. So I've done the same thing, except I've measured the barrel on my clarinet. Okay, so we've made our grommets. Now for the moment of truth, we're going to cut into Squidward. Okay, we've made our grommets. I'm going to put them behind me for now. And then we'll grab them in a little bit. Okay, so now I'm just going to clean up my Squidward costume. So last year, I was the first year that I was like, I'm going to go with Squidward. And so I made all these random cuts in the window, and I removed some of the mesh in hopes that I could actually read music off of my clarinet. It's very difficult to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the mesh off of this window, and then we're going to repair the see-through with just some plain old Scotch tape. Now, if you bought this costume new, all you need to do is remove the mesh. All right. I have pre-measured where the red will come out, which I have under his little collar. We can see the center line. So from tube to tube is about 4 1/4. So I'm going to find 2 and an 8, and then we will mark, which is here and here. Pretty sure this is like polyester or nylon, so I'm actually going to reinforce this with tape. This is like kind of a plasticky, a little bit of a stronger feel. So I'm just going to get like a square of it. I'm just going to place it, and then we're going to make a little, and I'm going to draw the circle. Okay, so now I know how wide I need to go. And I think I'm going to do the same kind of like asterisk pattern we did on the grommet. That's good enough. Okay, then I'm going to take this. This has the flowering part in there. And then I'm going to in there. And then we're going to stick our pipe through here. Okay. And then now you can see it's sealed. And, you know, we could hot glue this. Okay, that's complete. Now I have to do the clarinet grommet, which is the same order of operations, except the way I'm going to be playing, and this is really going to be where your instrument is going to like fall on the costume. But my clarinet ends up being right below the window. So I'm going to put this like right below the window, basically. And that way, you know, clarinet will be like that. And then it will go, it goes under the Lyre and like through it. That's why I'm saying like this is here and that's there. If you put a flip folder, it's gonna block a lot of the chaos that's happening back here. Whenever everything's assembled, if you put this on top, and you can even like decorate it so it looks like the sea, or so it's like SpongeBob theme. This is gonna cover whatever like chaos is happening behind this like thing, or the fact that there's like a barrel coming out of his throat. You know, that's kind of weird. But if this is there, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. Maybe I should put this thing together and make sure it works. Yeah, this should. No. This. No. Oh, wait. You're a little bit too skinny. Okay, so we've done that. So now let's do a dry fit inside the Squidward. Now let's finish this so that we can wear it. I'm going to take the 2 cord management Velcro things, and I'm just going to put them on here, but I'm leaving space so it's like loose. See? Because then these strap into here. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do this. Okay, remember that foam, that thick foam that you're gonna make like an X pattern? This is 3x4, 3x4, and then I made this like basically a box on a 45 on here, and this goes on the middle of your back. String this through here because this crisscrosses on your back. And then, this is going to attach on this side. So this is going to just keep the nylon from riding up your back or riding down your back. And then you can sew this if you want, but it's really not necessary. You just take a safety pin and safety pin it. Okay. That'll go over my head. Maybe not. Remy's looking at me like, what are you doing, lady? Okay. Whoa. And then you gotta get in Squidward. All right. And then I'm gonna attach this here. Okay. Now. Okay. This thing. There's no air loss, which is what you want. Come on. You know? So then this, you play clarinet, this goes down. And that's it. All you gotta do is spray paint this color. Okay. Then you're gonna attach your grommet. You gotta figure out where your clarinet's at. Attach your grommet. And you're off to the races. Alright. That's it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And see you guys on Halloween. Bye.